Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kat. I am the Nurse Flipper. This channel is a channel for those of you trying to start reselling, those of you already reselling, and in hopes that it will teach you more stuff to source while you're outsourcing and increase your knowledge on stuff to find. I do want to let everybody know I am going to a different upload schedule. I'm going to Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday for videos like this that are pre-recorded, but I will do premieres so I can hang out and chat. And then we will still have our lives on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, so you can hang out with us live and ask questions. So I will see you guys on Tuesday, and I'm going to show you today. I went to Goodwill and found some stuff, and we're going to look through it. All right. Hey guys, so I got sent home from work early, just a little bit early though, like 4 hours, and there are no Goodwills within an hour of me, but there is a Goodwill where I work. So I have my GoPro with me. I have my backpack because I thought I might do some dumpster diving, but I want to try this out in the Goodwill, so let's go. Alright guys, so I came in and first I was looking at the clothes. I'm not the greatest at clothes, but you will see in this video that I do go to them a couple of times. These are the women's pajamas, and they're only $2 a piece. I did almost get these peanuts here, but I decided to skip. They still might have been an okay pickup, and actually now that I'm looking, I see that the Red Hat Society pajama bottoms probably would have been a good pickup too at $2, but I did leave them there. So I did see these sticking out, and any new tags kind of stick out to me. And you can see this Tweety Bird did have a tag attached to it. I think it might have been a 3-piece set, but I only got the bottoms that you'll see here. They match it great. It is an extra large, which is a good size to pick up. I try and pick up only bigger sizes unless it's something that's outstanding. So these didn't have the tag, but the top did, and they do match. So that set I got. And then I normally will go next to the blankets, but there was nothing there. I'm trying to look at the women's jackets here just because I have found a vintage Quicksilver here before. There were a few items that looked okay, and I actually just saw that pink jacket, so it's funny you see things after. This jacket here was from another country, but I couldn't really find any comps. I did try and look up the name, and I was unsuccessful at finding anything on eBay for it. So if you see something that you don't know the brand and it's new with tags or it looks really nice, I would suggest looking it up. In this case, I was not able to find it, unfortunately, or nothing that was very similar to it, so I decided to just leave it there. I'm trying looking up different ways, maybe something that it says on the tag, just in case I was just unlucky in finding the name brand. Sometimes on the tags it's hard to read and tell exactly what should go in the eBay search, or if it's going to be called something else, but I couldn't find it, so I did leave it. If you guys see anything that sticks out in here to you, just tell me. I looked at that one because it looked vintage, and I'm not great with clothes, so you'll see I do keep going back to them throughout this video, but I didn't really pick anything up except those pajamas. So this section here, I find some random stuff. That was a leather UF notebook, but the inside had stains, so I left it. The Hannah Montana just didn't look like it would be worth very much and worth picking up either. So down here, I think there were some papers, And then I saw this. This is a kayak rack. It was brand new in the package. It had never been used. So this is where you want to have your eBay app and you want to scan that barcode there. So I'm scanning it to see, and quite a few things came up, and I'm looking at the sold comps. So there was only one sold that sold for $20. It was $5, brand new. So I decided that I would pick it up because newer stuff seems to sell a little bit better, and summer is coming up. So a kayak rack might be good to have in my store. So there were quite a few people in this Goodwill, if you see. They were, for the most part, all wearing masks. It is a requirement, but I did see a couple of people that didn't have it. So I always look here because you might find cups or tumblers that are worth quite a bit, but I didn't see anything today. So I saw this tray, and it was for a stroller, but they had it actually priced at $7.99. If this had been a little bit cheaper, I probably would have ended up picking it up. So with your new in box, you always want to open and make sure that the item is actually in the box first. And then I'm going to scan this one just like I did the kayak rack. So I'm scanning it here, and quite a few came up listed, and then quite a few came up sold. But the sold comps were like $15 or so, and I didn't want to put $8 out to make 15. So you see me poking the keys here. Troy has said he's sold a lot of keyboards over at Mountain Man Treasures and that they click, so I'm like pushing them. That one had a really long cord, and I do end up going back and getting that one. It is a gaming keyboard, and you can see there's a really long cord here. That's one of the things that caught my eye. It is missing a key, but I do think that it's still going to be worth it. There were sold comps on that at about $50. And I picked up, I believe, one other keyboard as well. I do have a all-in-one desktop that I got at the auction for myself, so I am going to keep that keyboard for myself. So here, some of these comps were as high as $80 and $90 on this keyboard, which is kind of crazy. I did pay $5 for it. I do have to test it. And this one here, I'm hoping will work well with my all-in-one desktop. I did search it as well, because if I find a keyboard that's worth a lot, I won't keep it for myself. I'll sell it and just find a different one for myself. So I'm looking it up. It has a few sold comps, not too many, and it was only going for about $20. So I ended up thinking that this might be good for myself, not to resell. That one there just seemed really cheap. I think I did look it up. And then I moved on to the toys. My Goodwill doesn't have a lot of stuff in bags, and unfortunately, you guys will see there aren't many items in the toys that are worth picking up most times. That plush was selling, but they wanted $3 and it was only selling for about $10. I prefer to pick them up at like $1 or $2 and sell them for $20 to $30 or more. I always hope to find ones that are worth more money. So there doesn't seem to be too much here in the toy section. I did pick this pillow pet up. Pillow pets are great to pick up and they sell decent. I actually passed one up, you will see here shortly. This is a Mickey game. It just felt like there was a lot loose in there, and they wanted $7.99, I believe, for it. So it was just priced too high for me to get it without knowing. I think that glass was uranium, but I didn't have my light, and even if it was just a really simple plain glass. So this is one of my favorite sections, is looking at all the china. So you can see there's a name here on the bottom, which makes it really easy for you to research and look it up, and you can see how many are listed. So there were actually only 2 listed, and there were none sold. So I did decide that I would pass over on these bowls. And I'm always looking at the brands. Sometimes you'll know once you've sold them a little while what brands do well and what don't. So this one I did look up, but it didn't have very many comps. And if I can't find good comps, I don't really want to pick up an item. Sorry, guys. This piece is really neat, but I think they had it at $3, and I'd rather get something like that for $1. Then I saw these plates. You'll learn when you see quality stuff if you do start picking up and researching and selling china. So these plates were really bright. They looked awesome. And I did see a sold comp on these. 4 of them sold for $30. They were $1 each. And I like to list plates individual, so I did decide to pick these 4 plates up. And I do have them listed individually in my store. Always look at the stack. That's what I'm doing there, because at least at my Goodwill, they don't necessarily stack the same plates together. And I just want to make sure. So I did pick this picture up as well. This is one of my favorite spots in my Goodwill. It's where they have the coffee cups. There are also pictures. I'm peeling off that label there just to make sure it didn't say Big Lots or something, which it didn't. And then this one looked neat, but it wasn't marked at all. And I'm not too excited to pick up stuff that's not marked unless it's really spectacular, which that really was not. And there are a lot of coffee cups here, and I do go in this section twice. I did pick up these little turkeys. They're ceramic. They're actually from floral arrangements, but they had decent comps, and I knew I could do a multi-quantity listing with 2 available, which is what I did. So they're currently listed. Some of these were listed as high as 30. There aren't very many sold, but I figure we're coming up on Thanksgiving, so chances of selling them is probably pretty good. And they didn't have any marks or chips or anything in the paint, so you want to check that as well. I always am searching the coffee cups, and also like that was a pretty neat picture, but it wasn't marked. And I do try to find items that are marked. These were really neat, the rooster mugs, and they actually comped out good, but they were chipped, which is why I decided to put them back. And then I saw these. These were bigger, and they actually said stoneware mugs. So a lot of your stoneware is going to be worth a decent amount of money. And these had sold comps at like $15 each. They were 2 for 99 cents. So I did decide to go ahead and pick them up because I saw quite a few of them were selling. They are Tianchan brand, which seems to be a decent brand as far as sold comps. So I got those 2. And then a lot of times at my Goodwill, they'll have 2 for 99, or sometimes they do 4 for 99, and then I have to decide on other things to get. These Samuel Adams mugs were okay, but they didn't really sell very often. And now I'm looking up, and you guys can't see it, but up on the top shelf up there was a really cool cookie jar that I did end up picking up. You'll see here me searching for the comps for it. There were only 3 listed, and then there were 2 sold. So that's not bad. There are not very many available, and a couple that were available sold. This cookie jar did not have very many blemishes on it. It's Pier 1 imports, and now that they went out of business, I'm thinking that those might do okay. And I actually now I'm seeing another kind of cupcake little bowl there as well. And then there, if you see, I picked up the Superman mug, but it was really new. It was from 2014, and I didn't even comp it out because of it being newer. This was a neat picture, but it didn't have any markings. Same with this dog here. I did end up passing on this warmer as well because it didn't have a name brand. And there's a lot of competition from overseas for that stuff. And I saw these cupcake mugs, which I actually just sold some some sprinkles waffle cone cups not very long ago. So I did end up picking those up, and they matched the cookie jar, but I did list them separately. So here's a Washington mug, but it wasn't branded, so I did pass that. If you notice, I do go back to this section. I went back, I think, 3 or 4 times. This is one that says stoneware as well. This is a little creamer. It was 2 for 99 cents. So I did pick that up, and now what I'm doing is trying to find something else to go with it for the 2 for 99, because I will be charged the 99 cents whether I get something else or not. So I do want to find something that I can pick up that will go with this and get a lower price on both of them. I didn't see anything, and then this one jumped out. It's not marked, but it is Statue of Liberty, and I think that it will probably sell with 4th of July coming up. Maybe the Statue of Liberty items will move a little bit faster. This picture reminded me of Russell Wright, but it wasn't marked, so I did put it back. That's kind of 50-50 whether or not you get it. And then I did go over to the Plush. I actually ended up picking up this hopper. I was really surprised when I looked up the stuffed animals for this guy. His name is Steven Smith, and he has pretty decent sold comps, as you see on the screen there. So this I have it listed at about, I believe, $50. It should bring me at least 30, and I only paid 99 cents for it. And then somebody must have donated that was really into giraffes. As you'll see here coming up in a moment, there were quite a few giraffes that were brought in, and they were bigger. The bigger plush do well, and you can kind of smush them down into poly bags. And I probably should have got that Trolls pillow pet, but I did leave it there and pass it up. Here are where I start finding the giraffes, and I didn't realize my camera wasn't aimed up, so you guys can't really see what I'm picking from, but you do see it when I pull it down. So this giraffe is almost 3 foot tall. I couldn't find exact comps, so what I did is look up the brand, because just because you can't find the exact thing doesn't mean that it will not sell. And here I am looking at a bunch of giraffes by the same maker that have sold. So I did decide to get this big giraffe. Alright, so I got the big giraffe, and it looks like there were a lot of giraffes here. I wish I had got the footage to show you guys, but unfortunately I didn't. So I will know for the next time when I bring the GoPro to aim it up if I'm grabbing stuff off of the top shelf. So I'm checking here, and these giraffes seem to do pretty well. And they're also, this fox, I didn't check, it might have done okay. At this point, my buggy, as you can see, is pretty full, so I was trying not to grab too much stuff. And this bear, I couldn't find a comp on. If I don't know the brand, I will check it, and I do encourage you guys to check brands on Plush, because there are a few brands that sell really high. The pig, I didn't check the comps on, because the big plush pillows like that do super well. You can almost always get at least $20, if not $30 on those. This monkey was okay, but not anything super great. And I did make a second trip around. So if there's this much stuff, I would recommend looking over it twice, if not 3 times, because you might miss something that is a really great find. And Dandy is a great brand. I did pick up a couple of Dandy items. This one I actually passed on. You'll see me checking the comps here because it's very variable on the Dandy items. There was one listed, none sold. So some of them will be super popular and others not so much. So Dandy is kind of a hit or miss brand. This big lion was a really good find. Those were Kelly Toy, and that brand seems to do fairly well overall. So Kelly Toy is a brand that I would recommend you guys keep an eye out for. And here are the shoes. I am not good with shoes, and if you guys see some shoes that I should have looked at closer, please let me know. This Goodwill, unfortunately, it has a small section, but most of the shoes are on the racks on top of the clothes spread throughout the store, so they're not in one area. And honestly, the racks are so high up it's hard to see. So I do look through the clothes occasionally, and I did a few times here. I love to find vintage items, but I'm not super familiar with like men's button-ups, men polos, and items like that. Alright guys, so I try and look at the shirts. Once again, not familiar with the clothes, but I do know a few brands to keep an eye out for. So if you guys see some stuff, definitely let me know. I did pass up that Nike, but I picked up this Umbro, and it does look like it has a fairly good sell-through rate on it at about, I think, $25 to $30, and I paid $4 for it. So let me know if you would have picked that up. There were a few other things that I saw, but I wasn't super sure about, so I just left them. I'm not too comfortable with these, so if I don't feel that it would definitely sell, then I do pass it up. I have in the past found a few different vintage shirts and also jackets at this Goodwill. I do live in a college town, so occasionally I find some really good stuff, so I always peek through here just in case, if I'm not in a rush. If I'm in a rush, I would skip the clothing altogether. I also looked at the button-ups. I feel like there's probably something here. I'm just not knowledgeable enough to pick them out. I did see like a couple, like that was like a flip cuff, and I know some people sell those. I just don't know these brands. I try to watch people like Lotta Josh so that I can learn some brands, but I just don't have the eye for picking them out just yet. I try to, but it just doesn't happen. Like that was a flip cuff, I think. The sleeve was a little bit different color. And I'm pretty good at picking out like fishing shirts, Columbia Sport, things like that. That was a vintage sweater. It actually comped out okay. That's what I'm looking up now. But the sell-through rate wasn't really good, so I decided to just leave it. And there were some baseball gloves up here. I did pick one up. Those were, I think, some Toms, and I ended up leaving those as well. I can find jerseys sometimes, so I'm decent at picking up jerseys. I do have better luck picking jerseys up at yard sales than I do at Goodwill. I think they probably get picked up pretty fast. I did pick up some wool vests at a thrift store that I thought would sell really well, but they're actually still sitting in my store. Once again, if you guys see anything I should have got, please let me know. I couldn't find that breakthrough one. I thought it might be good, but I couldn't find any comp, so I did decide to leave that. They have tons of shirts at this Goodwill, as you see. I believe they're $4.99. So I don't know if like the Adidas sweatshirt would have done good. There also is that Disney sweatshirt. Let me know what you guys think. The cost would have been $5. I'm not sure if they would have been worth actually picking up or not. And I didn't end up picking up any shirts at all from the Goodwill besides the Umbro one. And then I headed over to the women's clothing, which I am even more unfamiliar with women's clothing. So you guys that sell it, let me know if something sticks out. I do go through here pretty fast. Just the only thing I really know to look for is like wool and cashmere sweaters. So I kind of go through and look for those. But other than that, I'm not super familiar. I did go look at like the jean shorts as well, but I didn't see any brands that I thought warranted paying $5 for. And I'm gonna lose my footage here soon. This is pretty much the end before my GoPro died. So you guys will see what I sold as those videos come out. It was mainly plush that I picked up and some plates and a soup tureen. And I looked through the dresses, but I didn't really find anything. So this is gonna about wrap it up. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll do a little ending of the video here in a second. So I hope everybody enjoyed the footage from Goodwill. My GoPro did die, so I didn't get everything. I did pick up a lot of plush. I picked up a lot of china. I got a really awesome tureen bowl that actually should pay for everything. So my total was $100, and I had a 20% off frequent shopper card. So I paid $80 for everything in that one soup tureen, which is from Emily, France, should pay for everything. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll get better and not have my GoPro die. Let me know what you guys think, if you like seeing what I don't pick up and me going through the stuff, or if you would rather me just show footage of where I find what I do pick up. So I will see you guys on Tuesday Night Live, and then we'll have a pre-recorded again on Wednesday at 8 p.m. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I'll see you Tuesday. Bye.
Back to you when they come in, and you can pick them up. We ask that seniors and guests wait to be dismissed as called. We hope you have a great evening, and graduates, please celebrate safely. At this time, I dismiss the beginning of row 1 and their guests.